Hey, we are live. Hopefully you can hear me. We're about a minute before we get started here. It's Mike Michalowicz. I'm just adjusting some of our settings and I'm activating our chat. So I can see people starting to join. If you're joining now, just I want to know if you can hear me to say I can hear you in the chat. We're going to use the chat as opposed to using the Q&A section. So if you can hear me right now, just say in the chat, I can hear you. Thanks, Mike. All right, good. And if anyone else is having difficulties, you can say that in the chat too, but of course you wouldn't be able to hear me, so maybe we shouldn't do that. All right, it is 1 o'clock Eastern time, so we'll get started promptly. I want to thank everyone who is attending. Just so you know, you're here for the right subject. We're going to talk about how to double your profitability or quadruple it, quite frankly, and your revenue as an accountant, bookkeeper, or coach. And it's a methodology that we've developed for our clientele here that you can use independently of us, or if you so desire to join our organization, Profit First Professionals, we'd love to have that conversation with you. I'll save that to the end. Let me start off by first introducing myself. My name is Mike Michalowicz. I'm the inventor of Profit First. I'm the author of the book. It's right there. And I'm happy to say now, globally, we have over 150,000 businesses that have implemented Profit First. Our estimates are that by the end of 2019, we'll have over 200,000 businesses that have implemented Profit First. There is a huge need for accountants and bookkeepers and coaches that are looking to work with clients to drive profitability. I'll explain how that works in a minute, and want to give you a very specific strategy that you can implement in your business to leverage changes and opportunities. One last thing, the company I co-founded is called Profit First Professionals. We're a membership organization of accountants, bookkeepers, and coaches that deliver the Profit First methodology globally. And we have over 400 members now. We have an office in Melbourne, Australia. We have an office in Amersfoort, Netherlands, which is near Amsterdam, and offices that I'm broadcasting out right now, right outside New York City, in New Jersey, the little town called Boonton, New Jersey. So let's get into it. My goal for this call is we're going to keep it under 45 minutes. I want to respect your time fully. I want to deliver tremendous value to you and also introduce you to the Profit First Professionals organization if it's something you want to consider. So let's get right to it. I don't like to use PowerPoints, so this is going to be my PowerPoint presentation right here, and hopefully this will work. And I'm going to start off our presentation about how to really amplify your revenue and profitability by using the old Venn diagram. Perhaps not the best drawing here, but a Venn diagram is the intersection of three circles, and it's really in this middle where we're going to see the most growth in our organization if we leverage these three components. So let me start off. The first thing that every business needs to have, excuse me, is a uniqueness. So in your business, if you want to increase your revenue and profitability, the first question that comes to mind is, are you distinct in the market? How are you different than the rest of the market? So a classic example in this, and let me give you a line you can write down. I believe different is better. Better is not better. So better is not better. Different is better. How do you distinguish yourself? In fact, I was just in front of an audience yesterday. I was keynoting in Buffalo, New York. And I asked people, I said, just by a show of hands, there was 300 people in the audience. I said, how many people are better than the competition? And almost every hand went up. And I kind of shamed the people that didn't raise their hands and saying, well, I hope you feel you're better than the competition, to the people that didn't raise their hands, but everyone else did. And I said, I want you to realize if your competitors were in here and I asked them, are they better than you? They too will raise your hand. Businesses are competing on being better. Better is a necessity. You must be constantly elevating your ability to deliver your services and products. But it's not what catches the customer's attention. What catches the customer's attention is uniqueness. If we rewind to, I don't know, it was a science class in 5th grade. They talked about this concept of the hunters and the gatherers. The hunters were the men, the gatherers were the women. And we'll start with the hunters first. The hunters would go out in the woods seeking the food for the tribe, hunting, whatever animal it was. And as they were walking through the woods or through the plains, there would be crunching leaves under their feet. There was branches breaking, but their minds were designed to filter that out. So a familiar noise was ignored. Even if that noise was louder or they were running faster, it was, better, if you will, faster, better, stronger is usually better. If it was even louder or more amplified or more frequent, their minds filtered it out because it was a familiar noise. It was the second that they heard a screech or footprints, something that was distinct in that environment, that caused them to freeze and pay attention. If it was a new noise, they're paying such close attention to it because it could be a meal for them, but also it could be a threat. They could be the next meal. So they were paying absolute attention to something that was different than the familiar. The caveman mind was wired that when you see something different, to pay absolute attention to it. Well, this is true also for the gatherers. The gatherers were out collecting berries and vegetation and so forth. And when they saw something they hadn't seen before, a new berry, if you will, it wasn't like they instantly collected and consumed it and fed it to the tribe. That berry could be poisonous after all, or it could feed the tribe. So what they do is be very careful with it. When something different presents itself, they pay absolute attention to it. They would rub the berry on their skin to see if it caused a reaction of some sort. They would actually dab the berry on their tongue to see if it caused a numbness or anything. Then take a small bite, but to see if there was any reaction to it before they started to consume the whole thing. They were testing for poison. A different berry in this case meant it required the absolute attention of the female. So for both the male and the female, when something different presented itself, it was hardwired into them to pay absolute attention to it. And I realize society, technology has advanced dramatically, but our behavior has remained the same. When something different or unexpected presents itself, we give it our absolute attention to see if we're safe or not, if it's an opportunity or not. I do presentations pretty regularly now, and I can be in a massive audience of 300 people like yesterday, or thousands of people. But if someone comes walking in out of a side door and it creaks open during my presentation, everyone's head's turning to look at who it is. It's because we have this trigger for is an opportunity or threat. It's this invoked curiosity at subconscious level. So what we can do in our business is leverage that. What do you do that's truly unique in the market that no one else is doing? That will get the attention of your prospects. How are you unique? One example I like to use is Apple Computer. Actually, I have a great example here. I should have had this next to me, but I'll show it to you in a second. You can put this in the chat. If anyone owned a BlackBerry years ago, just put in the chat, say owned one or had a BlackBerry, whatever. I owned a BlackBerry myself. And they were ubiquitous with cell phones for a period of time. So Andrew, I saw your response. So they were ubiquitous. The BlackBerry, everyone had one. And the concept of the BlackBerry was the embedded keyboard with the full QWERTY keyboard at the bottom of the screen, so you could type it in very precariously with your thumbs. And the better mentality was to take what the BlackBerry had done and amplify it. Can you get a full keyboard? And this is the example I want to show you. Remember the phone like this, the screen, but you slid it up. Oops, I had it upside down. You slid it up, and now there's a full keyboard revealed behind it. Remember this phone? Yeah, I kept this as an antique now. But this was the mentality of BlackBerry has a lot of buttons. We need to make a phone with more buttons. That was the better mentality. Hard to distinguish. Maybe you owned a phone like that at some point. But then one innovator went after the opportunity of being unique, and that was Apple Computers. Apple Computers, under the direction of Steve Jobs at the time, said the opportunity in computing technology is no longer in the PC. That had become available to everyone. Everyone had a PC or a laptop, and Mac was in the mix. But he said the future of computing technology are mobile devices. We want to be the leader in the phone space. And so what did they do? They invented the phone. But they went after a uniqueness that no one else pursued at the time. They said, how do we make a phone that's buttonless? So I have a Apple iPhone right here, and here's what they did. They removed all the buttons. There's no buttons on the phone. And by doing this, Apple was the first company to blend technology with art. And they distinguished themselves in the market. And you can put in the chat too. So, Laura, you had one of those with the keyboard. Isn't that funny? I mean, that was the better mentality. I'm curious, Laura, Andrew, Mike, you all, do you now own an iPhone? If you own an iPhone, just put that in the chat. I'm super curious to see who does. But the vast majority, about 50% of the market, moved to iPhones. And then, of course, Android and other smartphones are out there, all have pursued this buttonless concept. So, Andrew, you got an XS. Nice. Nicely done. A 10X, or 10S, I guess they call it. Nicely done. No buttons, right? Apple was the innovator by blending technology with art. The opportunity for us is in being unique. What do you offer as an accountant, bookkeeper, or coach that no one else in the market is doing at this point, or at least a few minority that can make you distinct? Now, as we develop Profit First Professionals, my company, it's over 5 years old now. We actually have our big 5-year anniversary party. It's a little bit after the fact, coming up in 2 weeks. We call it ProfitCon. And so the company's about 5.5 years old. We've coached over 600 accountants and bookkeepers through this process of distinguishing themselves. And what we found is the greatest opportunity right now is by being a profit advisor. Think about it. If you go to a prospect, if I went to you, say I'm an attorney, and I went to you and I said, I'm a lawyer, what comes to mind? I presume a picture pops in your mind, maybe someone with a briefcase walking up some courtroom steps in a suit, right? We have a pre-described perception of what a lawyer is. But this is true for accountants, bookkeepers, and coaches. If I told you I'm a business coach, you'll say, oh, okay. You have your process you'll come in with, you'll consult me, tell me to change everything, and that's your process. Consumers believe if you're a bookkeeper, all bookkeepers, they do the same stuff. It's data entry, a little AR, AP, or if you're an accountant, you're going to do some tax compliance work. There is these pre-defined descriptions of the work you do. The problem is then they see us as a commodity. Oh, you're just another version of a BlackBerry. And it forces what's called downward price pressure. I'll talk about those influences in a little bit. But if you're unique and offer something else no one offers, now you become that brand new shiny iPhone, something that no one else has done. You become the innovator. And we have found with Profit First Professionals, the biggest opportunity currently is profit advisement, to be a profit advisor. And my challenge to you, if you elect to participate with our organization or go alone, consider becoming an advisor of sorts. Now, if you're a Profit First Professional, you can become a certified profit advisor. And even though that term alone is significant, next time you go to a networking event or talking with a prospect and they ask you, tell me more details on what you do, say, well, first and foremost, I'm a profit advisor. And you'll probably get a deer in headlights saying, I never heard that before. What's a profit advisor? And if you ever hear a customer saying, I've never heard that before, that means you are distinct in the market. To their perception, you are distinct. They've never heard that before. That means you're not just another accountant, bookkeeper, or coach. So step one, what makes you truly unique in the market? Better is not better, different is better. We have to seek ways to distinguish you. That's where you dictate premiums. That's where you get the attention of customers. But you can see in this Venn diagram, that one element alone is not enough. So we need to go on to the second and ultimately the third. The second part is you need to have client demand for what you're doing. So, let me pick this up. So what I wrote down here is you need to have a top client. One thing I just want to add to this too is the uniqueness, or at least one way to be distinct in the market, by being a profit advisor. So the opportunity that says profit advisor, to be unique is be a profit advisor. But this must intersect, you see in the middle there, it must intersect with top client demand. There must be people that want to consume this unique offering of profit advising. Well, there was a study conducted by the SBA and identified that 83% of small businesses, now just to clarify this, the SBA defines a small business by a company that does $25 million in annual revenue or less. Okay, that's absolutely my company. I presume if you're watching, probably your business too. 83% of us are surviving check by check. In the US, there's 28 million small businesses. Globally, there's over 180 million small businesses. And the vast majority are in check-to-check survival. If you do accounting or bookkeeping work, or even as a coach, you probably have access to some degree of your clients' financials. I wonder how many of your clients came on board and were struggling with profitability. I mean, the real simple question is, do they do a quarterly profit distribution above and beyond a normalized salary distribution? If not, they're struggling with profit. Do they do a year-end distribution? Is there a cash reserve? Or is everything going to the owner? If not, they're not profitable. Many owners confuse this concept. They say, well, I had an accounting profit. I did a recast, and if I didn't take this money out, technically it would have been a profit. But what I'm talking about is actually a cold, hard cash reserve, because that's how entrepreneurs define profit. Above and beyond their normalized salary that they should be taking out of their organization, I call it owner's compensation, a salary to pay them a reasonable wage for the work they're doing within their organization. They also should be reserving money in a profit account to distribute to the owners or shareholders as a profit distribution. 83% of those businesses never do that quarterly, annually, actually never do it in their lives. They're in a check-to-check survival mode. This is the biggest opportunity of our time. Think about it, 180 million businesses times 83%. I'm doing the math real quickly in my head. 120, 130 million. It's probably even higher than that. It's a massive, massive opportunity. Businesses are struggling with profitability. And because if you become a profit advisor, this makes you unique. There's very little competition for it, meaning you get dictated a premium for the work you do. So that's what the opportunity is. Right now, the opportunity is with small business. So if you have small business clientele, companies that do $25 million in annual revenue or less, 83% of them could be profit consulting clients for you, where now you're not a commodity offering bookkeeping or accounting or coaching. Now you're offering something that's truly unique in the market to a massive community. There's also a huge opportunity outside your existing client base. Of course, there's all these other clients that are being underserved, 83%. So the 130 million businesses that are waiting for someone to drive them on profitability. But even if you have these two intersections, you have uniqueness, you have a specific demand that relates to it. Apple leverages this very well. If we go back to the Apple story, by the way, Apple they were the first to blend technology with art. They created the iPhone, but they also created the Apple IIe and all these different innovations where they're really focusing on technology and art kind of coming together. Well, who was the top client community that resonated with that? It was the artists. It was the marketing departments of the world. They're the ones, went a little foggy for a second. They were the ones who leveraged this. So Apple, when it took off, you may remember it was advertising agencies that acquired it, even educational institutions. And then ultimately it went mainstream. So you have the same opportunity as Apple does. There's a huge client base that is looking for this specific need. You can penetrate them very quickly because they're being underserved in a great way. Okay. But even those two elements, we're missing the next element, which is systems. What systems are is, can we drive or deliver our offering, attract prospects, of course, convert them to clients, then deliver that offering, have them paying us happily, have them raving about their experience with us, maybe even referring our business to other people, all while you're sleeping. That's the key to systems. Can all of your business, can the full cycle of services be delivered? Can you collect money? All those elements without your conscious input. That's the key to systemization. Many business owners are carrying the business on their back. The only way for you to make more money is for you to work harder, and that is not a solution to a scalable business. In fact, I devoted my book, Clockwork, you can see over here, to the study of what makes a business run on automatic. All these teachings, by the way, as part of the of Profit First Professionals, we teach our members on how to leverage these processes so they can design a business that runs itself, so they can design a business to be profitable, and of course to deliver Profit First consulting services to their clients. But it's all about systemization. Can you deliver a uniqueness to a top client base all without your active input? That's a highly scalable business. And now you got to define what your success is. Meaning, do you want to hire more and more employees and simply scale it? Well, systems will support that. Do you want a business where you can kind of sit back and take it easy? Well, systems will support that. So you got to find the right size business for yourself by implementing systems. But it is critical that we have all three of these aspects. Many businesses will just have one or two, and then you're trapped. So let's start off with the top here. Say you have top clients and you have a uniqueness about you. Let me just add a couple of notes here. So say you have top clients, you have a uniqueness about you, but you don't have systems. And by the way, next to systems, I put no active input. Systems means no active input from you, the owner. If you have top clients and uniqueness, but no systems, you will experience what's called TFM. And TFM is the time for money trap. I'm just going to emphasize this. What this means is the only way to scale your business is to work more hours, to work longer. right? You have clients that want what you have. You offer something that's distinct in the market, but it's not systematized. It means you need to do the work. And the only way to scale the work is to work harder and longer. And there's a certain point where it just exhausts itself. You can't work more than 24 hours a day. And honestly, no one can work 24 hours a day because we need sleep and rest and to recharge. So you max yourself out on a certain amount of time. Many business owners will start to sacrifice other elements of their life. I'll sacrifice time with family, or I'll sacrifice personal time, or many entrepreneurs I know just simply say, I can't sacrifice family, I can't sacrifice personal time, I can't sacrifice the business. I'll sacrifice the last thing I have left, which is sleep, and start carving down on it, and then health issues kick in, and it's not sustainable. So that's the trap of time for money. You can scale by working harder, but only to a certain degree, and it's only works for a certain period of time. Now, there's another trap here too, where you've top clients and it's systematized, but it's not distinct in the market. And as we work with many bookkeepers and accountants and coaches, we find this is the most common problem. It's called DPP, downward price pressure, meaning you have clients that like and need what you offer. You're able to deliver it with some degree to a high degree of automation, but it doesn't give you market distinction. This is what we're experiencing with the rise of artificial intelligence. There's clients that want their tax returns prepared for them, and now technology's coming in, automating it like TurboTax and stuff like that, and the tools are getting more sophisticated. We here have had behind the scenes access to some of the leaders. I can't disclose because of NDAs, but some of the leaders in the accounting software space. You won't believe the technology they're working on. In fact, QuickBooks just announced, was it last 6 months, that they are coming out with QuickBooks Live, if I recall correctly, their own version of bookkeeping. And they're going after accountants too. And I'm not picking on QuickBooks. The technology is advancing, and that's just the way it's going to go. But it forces downward price pressure. The software companies are saying the standard now for the prices, and it keeps on coming down and down because they're automating it, which for us to compete as an accountant or bookkeeper, we have to reduce the prices. Because you have top clients and systems, but you're not distinct. The client sees you as just another bookkeeper, just another accountant, or just another coach. So that's the trap. How do we distinguish ourselves so we don't have downward price pressure? The last intersection is you're unique and you have systems, but there's no demand for it. There's no top client demand. I don't have an acronym. I do have a word for that, though. You're screwed. You're screwed, right? So you have systems. You can deliver on automatic. You have something that distinguishes in the market, but no one wants to buy what you're offering, you're in trouble. So I want you to consider for your business these 3 circles. I encourage you, when we're done with this presentation, sit back and just think, how do we make ourselves extremely unique in the market? How do we differentiate ourselves from anybody else? How do we offer a service to a community that is being underserved, and how do we automate it? Now, at Profit First Professionals, I told you, we identified that profit advisement is a true uniqueness, a massive opportunity for the foreseeable future, for the next 10 to 20 years in our projections. The technology can't do profit advisement for that period of time. Excuse me. There's top client demand. There's 83% of clients, small businesses, 180 million globally, that need this. And it's systematized. So over the last 5+ years, we've automated and created systems that deliver the profit advisory calculations. So Profit First, my book, that is the basics to the system. And it often gets entrepreneurs started. When they hire a bookkeeper or a coach, excuse me, I got a little frog in my throat. When they hire a bookkeeper, a coach, or an accountant, they want someone that's versed at the advanced level. And so we've developed technology. One of them we call PAT, is the profit assessment tool. We always use people's names for our technology. So PAT is the profit assessment tool that does an automated online analysis of your clients. It spits out a report with a trajectory of how they can increase their profitability over time and suggestions of how to do this rollout. Also giving you, the Profit First professional, the ability to tweak it so you can customize that technology. And of course, you can dictate a massive premium for it. We invested heavily in that technology. We invested significantly in the development of the Profit First system and the advanced components, and you're the benefactor of that. The Profit First professional, you'll do work very efficiently developing this profit system, but you can charge a serious premium for that work you do. We also have Carl, which is we call it the case allocation and case allocation and resource logistics. It manages the flow of how clients work. We have tons of online tools that we've developed. So we have this thing called Profit University. We've developed done-for-you content, how to market it. We have presentations on it if you want to speak or do a webinar or something like this to your prospect base. All that stuff is done for you. So the systems have been developed, and that's how you leverage the opportunity, right? You can be unique and have top clients, but you don't have the systems in place. You got to work your tail off to sustain that. What we've done is we introduced with Profit First Professionals these systems that allow you to deliver your offering, your unique offering, which is profit advisement, to this client base extremely efficiently. And it's at the center of these three things. Regardless of how you get there, as long as you nail these three things, that's where the colossal growth begins. And just to tell you how much significance I put in this, I dedicated a book to this concept. It's called The Pumpkin Plan. Maybe a little bit off the screen, but it's over there. As an author, I do extensive amounts of research, testing of systems. The Pumpkin Plan is about 8 years old now, that book. I started developing this process 8 years ago. We took another 2 to 3 years to really nail it down and then introduce it to Profit First Professionals when we started it. So I put a lot of value in this. Every business I've owned, I've used this exact same model. I believe in it that much. So as you look at your business, do you have a specific community that has a very specific need that relates to your uniqueness, that distinguishes you? They see you as being the only one able to offer that. There's a select elite kind of relationship here. You're not a commodity. And are you able to deliver on automatic? That positions you for scalability. Okay. Let me talk a little bit about Profit First Professionals now, and then we'll wrap up too if you have any questions. So Profit First Professionals, like I told you, is an organization that we based upon this premise that we believe in, and we've helped over 600 accountants, bookkeepers, and coaches now implement this in their business and roll it out to the clients as a profit advisor and to scale their own businesses. If you're interested in becoming a Profit First Professional, we are introducing groups, one more group this year, and I believe the training, we have a live training is in December. And then there's other live trainings too if the December dates don't work for you. But we are accepting in one more group this year. And if the timing's not right, by the way, you can wait till next year. We're not going anywhere. So I don't want you to feel this sense of artificial urgency. I do want you to trust your instincts if this is an opportunity for you. Many accountants and bookkeepers and coaches, but really it's the accountants and bookkeepers specifically that we work with, this is the ideal time to do it because we're coming out of the September insanity, right, of doing quarterlies and so forth. Things will get quiet down a little bit before January and February for bookkeepers is off the charts. March, April for accountants, it shifts over. There's a huge demand period. And a lot of people are trying to get ramped up on this knowledge and skill set so that when we go into the quiet period after April, that they can introduce their new offering. So this is an ideal time for many accountants and bookkeepers to become Profit First Professionals. Coaches too. What we do is as a Profit First Professional, you will be granted the license to leverage the Profit First brand. Now, I'm very proud that Profit First is the #1 brand globally when it comes to profit consulting and profitable cash flow. The book alone has sold hundreds of thousands of copies. It's been translated to 19, I think the 20th language is going to be Flemish of all things. It's coming out pretty shortly. So the book has an international presence greater than any other brand in regards to profitability at this point. We're very proud of that, and I'm very humbled that we've had the opportunity to spawn that. And as a Profit First Professional, you'll be part of the brand. You get to leverage the brand, affiliate with it, associate with your website. In fact, I even do testimonial videos for our members, recommendation videos. So once you're up and running and certified as a Profit First Professional, I'll gladly do, as part of our system, I'll do an endorsement video of you so people can see that you're affiliated and working with our company. We're a small business here. There's 14 of us. We're a tiny little office here in Boonton, New Jersey. We do have these other locations too, but there's 14 people in this location. So it's a small, very high touch organization. So first of all, you get the branding association. The next thing is you will differentiate yourself in the market, right? It goes back to this uniqueness. You will become a profit advisor, a certified Profit First Professional, which is a great way to distinguish yourself from all the other, I'm doing air quotes here, all the other accountants and bookkeepers out there. We'll teach you ways how to leverage it more. But from the client's perception, it will put you on a plateau is maybe almost the wrong word because it speaks almost negatively about the accounting and bookkeeping, but it does give you a way to elevate or stand out in a community. So as a Profit First Professional, you'll be able to distinguish yourself, and we will give you all the marketing tools and stuff to support that. You'll also go through certification. So our team here at the office, we have guides Aaron's one. There's Michael Scalise, Angie Woods, Billy Ann Griggs. Our team will work with you one-on-one to direct you on this path to ensure you get trained fully on the Profit First concept, that you've implemented in your own business. We actually require that. We'll do a soft audit. Why we require this is we believe the best way to teach something is to actually live it. We think that's the only authentic way to represent it. I mean, could you imagine I teach Profit First, but I don't do it for my own business, my own life? Of course I do. I live by Profit First. It's been a game changer for me. And I think if I didn't, I'd be hypocritical. So we mandate that all of our members are living by Profit First, the standards, before they go out and teach it. So we'll help you implement it in your own business, guide you through it. Plus, we'll give you sensitivity when you're working with clients. It's more than just the behavioral flow of it. You'll feel the emotion or be able to relate to the emotions they go through as they implement Profit First. We will show you how the Profit First relationship with your client flips the relationship from somewhat an antagonistic relationship. The old shoot the messenger. I don't know if you've been there when your client, tax time comes or they can't pay their bills. Who do they shoot? The accountant, bookkeeper, and the coach. It's you're the accountant, tax are due. It's your problem. They actually get mad at you. But bookkeeper, I can't pay my bills. It's your problem. Coach, you get everything else. Any issue you have, why didn't you foresee this? The thing is, we're actually delivering the knowledge to them so they can take action, but they shoot the messenger. Well, Profit First switches that relationship because now the focus is profitability. We'll be the one who's saying, okay, time to take our quarterly profit distribution. They'll be signing the check in front of you to release a profit distribution to themselves. It starts off with a celebration, and then we can explore ways to amplify profitability while diminishing expenses. So it changes that relationship. You become much more of a consigliere, if you will, a reliant authority to them, someone they become dependent on. You become their number one advisor is what you become. Okay. I told you about Profit First University. We have online training. Your guides will work with you and make sure that you're staying pace with it. We'll go through online training. Training goes anywhere between 3 to 6 months. You can go on expedited, which is 3 months. If you really want to crank through it, up to 6 months. Average member does in about 5 months. They will get their certification. There's a final exam. Now we give you quizzes going up to it, but there's a final exam. And once you pass the final exam, you'll get a certification in Profit First. The other thing is we have some annual events. So we have a community. Like I told you, our big bash is 2 weeks away. So in September, end of September, all our members are gathering together at ProfitCon, and we're going to celebrate and learn and share together over 2 days. We have other live events too that we do, but we also have our online community. The work we do is pretty lonely. If you're an ABC, chances are it's a pretty lonely industry. It's you and your computer, typically in an office or in your basement or in your house. And that's the norm. So what we've done is established our community, and it's highly engaged, where you can share your challenges, share your opportunities, and get feedback from other people, and share your feedback too. We use the Facebook platform because that seems to be the most ubiquitous right now platform that people use for social media. We use that platform on a private page for you to communicate, share stuff, ask questions. I'm there regularly. I'm answering questions and so forth. So you have access to that. And also as a member, you'll have access to our internal team for training. Our mastery members work with me. Ron, my business partner here, works with our mastery members, our newest members too. You can even come visit our offices and we can spend some time together. So we're highly accessible. So that's kind of 3 core elements. You have the brand differentiation with Profit First Professionals. You get to leverage the most established brand in the world to distinguish yourself. You have the learning available, training, certification, and then you have the community itself that will support you. All this with the goal of increasing the profitability of your clients and also radically increasing the profitability of yours. Our typical member, and we have testimonial videos, testimonial banners that we proudly show here at our office. Our typical members are quadrupling profitability or more by implementing Profit First and using this to distinguish themselves in the market as Profit First professionals, dictating a much larger revenue, upwards of 3, 4, 5 times. Now, there's special cases of clients blowing those charts out like a 10, 20 times amplification. And there's some cases where clients are only maybe doubling their profitability or tripling their profitability for their own business. But the 4 times is pretty much the standard. That's why we call the webinar what we call. Let me give you just a couple more pieces of input around becoming a Profit First professional. And if you have any questions, I'll gladly answer it. And I want to tell you where to get started. So Profit First professionals, if you're interested in becoming a member, the annual membership fee is $5,000. Now, think about what you spend on marketing if you were going to do a Facebook campaign or whatever, new website redesign, all this stuff. Like, what would that cost you as compared to, we already have the marketing out there for you. We have the brand awareness, leveraging the brand. That's how I want you to encourage to consider it. So it's not just a membership. It's a way to radically distinguish yourself. Is that investment worth it? And of course, that's totally up for you to decide, but I just wanted to put that positioning around it. On your first year, though, there is a training fee. It's $2,800. So let's say $3,000. So you just know. So $3,000 is less than that, actually. But so $3,000, and that brings an intensive training. I'm actually part of that training that I'll be giving to you. And our team here is live training over 2 consecutive days, plus all the online training. Then after that first year, there's no more training fees going forward. It's just your membership fee. Also, if it's better for your cash flow purposes, we have installment plans. Listen, everyone watching here is in the finance industry, and sometimes it makes sense for fiscal reasons to spread things out. It's a more prudent decision. So we also have a monthly installment where instead of paying the annual fee, you can break it down to roughly $500 a month plus the training fee and break that into pieces. So that's available to you too. Here's the situation that's really unique about us and we're blessed to have. We're doing these live webinars because we get so many applicants from people that have discovered Profit First, because it's become such the brand, people are so aware of the brand. There's lots of inquiries coming in constantly of people that just heard about Profit First and want to become a Profit First professional, don't know much about it, and they're looking to learn. We set these webinars to actually teach people who are seriously interested in the fact that you're here and you're listening in. Hopefully you got value out of this model you can use. I presume you have some degree of interest. So what we're asking for is a deposit. It's a fully refundable deposit of $495. But this has been a great way for us to find the people and to communicate the people who are seriously interested versus the people that are just kind of exploring right now, but now is not the time to do this. The greatest way to do this, and I encourage you to do with your own clients, is ask for a deposit. People speak the truth through their wallets, through their actions, as opposed to their words. So by doing this, we will know that you're seriously interested and we'll take the next step together. Here's the next step. We'll schedule a phone call with one of our team members here and Diana, Mike, or myself even, and we'll explore what you're looking to achieve and if Profit First Professionals is a fit. If at any time you feel Profit First Professionals is not a fit for you, we immediately on the spot refund the deposit. Conversely, we hold the same right. If at any time we feel that you may not be a fit for our organization at this time, we will tell you so. We'll refund the deposit immediately and then invite you to reconsider applying for membership a few years from now. Sometimes it's not right. And one side or the other can call it and we'll refund the deposit immediately. If at the conclusion of our discussions together, if you feel it's a fit, then what we do is we can apply that membership immediately to your, the deposit to your membership, and we're off to the races getting you trained and set and ready to go. Now, if you're interested, we only have, I'm just looking at my computer, there are 5 slots available. Here is the link I pasted in there. Oh, whoops, I didn't put it in the chat, so you can't see it, guys. Okay, that's a little bit better. There's the link. If you click on that now, it'll bring you to the page. There's a further description of what we're doing there. And then you can put your deposit down. I asked you to put the deposit down now. And it is a first come, first serve. And I hope you respect that process. It's just the most effective way for us to run this is the people that put their deposits down first are demonstrating their interest in our organization. We'll have a call with you. Again, if it's not a fit on either side, we immediately refund it and we'll open the next spot. So as you go to that link, once you fill out the credit card information to process your deposit, it will tell you if we have no spots left, it'll say, once you try to process deposit, it'll say spots have been filled. And we just ask that, a year or two from now, we revisit this when we're doing or accepting new members again. So that's the link. If you have any questions, just post it in the chat as opposed to in the Q&A because it's a pain. But I want to make sure that all your questions are satisfied and answered. And if you don't have a question, you don't have to post it. I also do want to reiterate, membership is for accountants, bookkeepers, and coaches. Our existing membership is about 1/3 of each community. A lot of these members work collectively together. So here I see a question came in and says, how many years do you have to be in business? Is there an annual revenue we should have maintained? Yeah, great question. You should be in business approaching a year or more. I suggest that you start getting some traction under your belt before you become a member. We used to encourage people to have even more experience, but as we've implemented Profit First over these years, we've discovered that businesses that have been around a shorter period actually have an advantage because they can learn the system and make that their most prevalent offering. The more established businesses have to add Profit First in as a product and then maybe want to modify their offering going forward, which is a little more difficult. So actually newer businesses we're finding have more success. I suggest you should be sustaining over $50,000 in annual revenue because that's proven you have a track record that we can explore. Okay. Katie says, I am not a financial professional, but a long-term business owner and consultant. Am I able to take the training? Katie, I would dare say you're probably better positioned because you have the entrepreneurial experience. Profit First is not about being a financial professional or having financial expertise. There's financial components, but we will teach that to you. The system is a cash flow management system. What entrepreneurs need is two things. They need a system, we've developed at Profit First, that guides them to profitability. What it does is it triggers entrepreneurial questions. Once they start taking their Profit First, they'll say, well, how do I sustain this? How do I amplify sales? How do I specialize in an industry? How do I manage my employees? And the fact, Katie, that you have been a long-term business owner, you've got those experiences. So it makes you a versed business consultant. So from my experience, you're actually well-positioned for that. That's a great question. Mike Smith says, can the first year training fee be financed? Yes, the first year training fee can be financed too. We have an installment plan with it. I don't recall if we do monthly or if it was 3 or 4 slices over 3 or 4 months, but that can definitely be financed too. Okay. If you also have a question, please post it now. Let me Control V. There we go. Here's the link one more time, guys. And I see another question coming in, so I'll answer that. But if you would, actually I can see 2 people already did. If you would, just click on that link, fill out the form for your deposit. I'm not going to shout the names. I can't see with my vision from this point. But for those 2 people that have signed up so far, our team will reach out to you in the next business day. So within 24 hours, we'll reach out to you, schedule a call, and we'll discuss to make sure it's a perfect fit for you. And at any time, if this is not a fit, we will refund you. If it is a fit, we're going to have a conversation about really how to leverage this and ramp you quickly. So thank you. I'm excited. And now it's 3 people. Yeah. Okay. I've practiced your system. This is from Johannes. I've practiced your system personally. Cool. But haven't been able to implement it in my company, primarily because of accountants and finance guys' resistance. I'm planning to go the entrepreneurial path. Profit First Professionals looks like a viable way to go. Does my personal experience count toward the experience required? Great question. So first of all, there's 2 things. When we get internal resistance from our internal people, it is very hard, near impossible, to move a business over to it. And it's often based out of inexperience and ignorance. I'm not saying that they're inappropriate for your company, but they probably don't have experience with this and don't understand it. And it's a shame, but if they don't feel that need, you're going to get this roadblock. It's tough. So becoming a Profit First professional is a good path. Does that experience apply of trying to implement your business? No, not necessarily. I mean, I'll have to learn more about it. But if you're going to start a consulting practice around Profit First professionals, we'll want to implement Profit First in your consulting practice. It will give you a leg up, though, in the quizzes and examinations. You'll probably move along much quicker. It doesn't get you closer to certification in regards to checking off kind of check boxes. But as you go through this process of learning, you'll probably have learned a lot on your own already, and you'll go through it much faster that way. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, guys, any more questions? Post it in the chat. I did promise that we'd finish this in less than 45 minutes, and we're 42 minutes in, so I do want to wrap it up. I do want to finish with this final thought, though. I hope this model was very helpful to you. And regardless if you do decide to pursue Profit First professional membership or not, I just want to thank you regardless. And I want you to know I'm wishing you tremendous success with your business. The world is starving for your success and starving for profitability. Too many entrepreneurs are struggling. So I just thank you for the endeavor you're on and the work you're doing, regardless if you decide to join us or not. I'm just happy you're here. I also wanted to tell you from my own experience to trust your instinct. As you heard about Profit First Professionals right now, I think there's going to be 1 or 2 responses you feel. One is, this is terrifying. My gut says do it, but I'm afraid it's a whole new life for me. And if your gut's saying do it, I want to encourage you to pursue your instinct. It's kind of like the first time you ride a bike. It's terrifying when you're up there wobbling around. The only way to get through it is to do it. And if your instinct is saying do it, I encourage you to apply for membership. Conversely, if your instinct is like, don't do this, it's not the right time, but you're trying to speak to it, well, there's an opportunity here and so forth. If your instinct says don't do it, trust your instinct. This is not the time. We'll be around. Maybe this is something we revisit in a couple of years, but trust your gut. So if you feel the time to do it is now, I'm here with you. We're going to crush it, and we're going to do everything to support your success. If the time's not right now, thank you just for attending here. And I want you to know I'm wishing you tremendous success going forward. All right, guys. Nice comments coming in. I appreciate this so much, and just wishing you all tremendous success in the year ahead, and hope if you do decide to join Profit First Professionals that you and I get some FaceTime pretty quickly, and that we're going to change the world together, starting off with your own profitability. All right, take care, guys. We'll see you later. Thanks again for joining, everyone. See you all. Bye. See you, Andrew. See you, Laura. See you, Mike. Bye, y'all. And the link is, I'm going to put the link in one more time because I see it got buried. Thanks, Andrew. Thanks, Katie. I appreciate it. Toki, thank you. Or Taki, I think it's pronounced. All right. We'll see you all later. Just click on that link now. And yeah, we still got one spot left. All right. See y'all.